everybody, this is Pastor Jeff. Recently I had the privilege of reading a powerful book called Gray Matter. It's a story about a neurosurgeon who God leads to start praying for his patients before surgeries. After finishing this book, the Lord prompted me to consider who in our body at Heartland Free are in similar settings and are things like that happening in their world. Well, God led me to a person, Jonas Johnson, who we're blessed to have with us today, who things are happening in his world that we want to hear from today to encourage you all. So I want to thank you, Jonas, for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, maybe about your patients and such.
Yeah, so I've been practicing chiropractic in Monticello for almost 13 years, and we've got a very diverse practice. I've got little tiny infants as patients all the way up to, I think my oldest patient is 102 years old.
Wow.
So broad spectrum of kind of anybody that we can help.
And so, have you had chances? You probably are very busy, so you're battling this time fix, and yet you want to get in. Maybe I'm speaking for you. Get in and share with people. Maybe pray for them. Tell us a little bit about that balance.
Yeah, so we do have a busy practice. On a typical day, I might see anywhere from 40 to 50 to 60
Wow.
patients.
Yeah.
So time appointments are tight at times. But there's opportunities that I've had with patients, whether it's right there in the appointment, or if I have to jot myself a sticky note and remind myself on such and such a date, or that night as we do our family devotions and prayer time, that we'll pray for Bob and whatever he's got going on. So yeah, in a busy day, it's juggling, balancing, but trying to keep that mindset of people are hurting more than just physically within chiropractic.
Let me ask you, so how did you get started on this? I assume you didn't just day one when you began your practice.
Right. Yeah, when I was just out of school, it's very analytical and you're just trying to remember what to do. And really in the last 8-9 years, as I've grown spiritually, I pray more mature in the faith, that it's become more natural to ask patients, whether they're non-believers or believers, if I can pray for them, or if there's a hurt going on in their life or something that they just want prayer for. So no, it wasn't right away in the beginning of practice, but it's something that I've grown, I guess, maybe into.
Did you have fear the first couple times? Talk about that. Yeah. Were you worried about how the patients would respond? Maybe other employees, if they heard about it, that element.
For whatever reason, it seems like we do as humans in those settings do get a little nervous, get a little stressed, if you will. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't. But I wouldn't say fear is the right word. And a lot of times when you're with another believer, there's just a different bond. They use words, I use words that we connect with. And it's like, hey, do you go to a church in the area? And then there's that immediately wall that kind of comes down. And then it's a lot easier. For non-believers, I've not really had any pushback. I've not had anybody know or in my face or any type of negative criticism. So that's been a huge blessing. That helps, you just keep listening for those kind of words of, having a surgery or whatever their life might bring. I'm very fortunate that my business partner is also a born-again believer. So he's been, encouraging from the get-go of, hey, these people are coming to our clinic for physical issues, but we know that people have emotional issues, and obviously we all have a spiritual issue of separation from God outside of Jesus. So there's been encouragement from him. I think it encourages some of the non-believers as employees, realizing that we're there for more than just people's physical needs, that we do care about their spiritual well-being and what happens when you die, kind of thing.
How about, can you give us a personal story? I realize you're going to have to leave out a name, but...
I had a college student maybe 4 or 5 years ago that she was going up to St. Cloud State, and somehow we got talking. She was taking an ethics class or some type of of class on like truth, basically, maybe even a logics class, and how she brought up that she thought that, you know, truth is relative. If what you believe is good and what I believe is good, then that's okay. So I had the opportunity to, well, what if my truth contradicts your truth? What happens then? If I think that shooting somebody is okay, how is that, who draws the line on what's truth? So through that chiropractic appointment, you know, we sidetracked from her issue that she came in with, and we talked on that for a while. And there's other times where, you know, Bob is going in for a knee surgery, so a sticky note, and remember to pray for Bob on the 15th of August or whatever, and put it maybe in my phone as a pop-up reminder on the night before his surgery kind of thing. Just so we don't forget at home to pray for him. Or there's been other opportunities where I've prayed with patients in the actual treatment room. If it's just one of those things where you can sense the Spirit is just, hey, this brother, sister, non-believer needs encouragement, or, you know, preaching the gospel to people in a comfortable, loving setting, not intimidation or whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, we have a lot of people out there in our body at Heartland Free that are in similar, maybe not chiropractors, but similar situations where they're with the public, and they have opportunities similar to yours to pray for people, speak to people about spiritual matters. Jonas, what would you tell them? Because probably a high percentage of them deal with this fear, this barrier. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, one thing that when I first started out in practice, I tried to really, and still do to this day, live on purpose. Like I try to view myself as a missionary working as a chiropractor. What I do for work is not who I am, it's what I do, kind of thing. So trying to keep that in mind, that I'm really a advocate of the gospel. And I'm not comparing myself to the people in China, to the people who are in harm's way, who went out in Brazil and lived there for years. I'm not in danger with where I work, but just really trying to keep that mindset that people need Jesus. They need to hear Jesus. We can love on them and we can serve them, but at the same time, they only come to faith through hearing, typically speaking. But living on purpose like that, of making sure that the conversations that I have, I'm there to help with what brought them there. But if I can go to that next level of their spiritual health as well, then it's just living that out.
Cool. Well, people, you heard it here from missionary Jonas. What a powerful example. I pray you all are encouraged to do likewise. Go out, all for the glory of God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jonas.
Yeah.